I am a strategic intervention life coach, and I've been a yoga instructor for about 30 years. I provide massive transformational value for women and men who are ready to break through limiting beliefs, to stop playing small. This is for those who want to see real changes physically, mentally, professionally, and in their relationships. Hello, everyone. This is Giselle Toner, and this is Ignite Your Value. This is the show for those who want to go from broken to brilliant, from getting the love you deserve to getting paid what you're worth and everything in between. And I have a really wonderful guest with me today. Her name is Dr. Louise Swartzwalter. And Dr. Louise Swartzwalter went through some really serious things in her life that caused her to basically be bedridden for a very, very long time. But she pretty much performed miracles on herself. And I'm excited because I want her to explain, number one, the story of what she went through and how devastating it was, and the way she got herself out of it. Okay, so this is going to be very, very, very helpful for all of you who are maybe sick or who have issues right now that you feel like you really cannot overcome. She's going to explain some things that I personally have experienced because I have been with Dr. Swartzwalter, and I have been in her company and I've been at her events, and she really truly is amazing, and I am excited to bring her on. So, do you mind if I call you Louise?
Oh, please do.
All right, Dr. Louise.
Yeah.
I know her as Louise. She is Dr. Swartzwalter, but I know her as Louise, but I'm going to call her Dr. Louise. So, Dr. Louise, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, it's so awesome to be here with you, Giselle. Thank you so much for doing this. Yes, and for all the work that you're doing in the world, and also getting this information out there to help more people, know that they can have hope and that there's things they can do in their life if they're struggling too.
Yeah, and I wanted to read a little bit about your bio, if you don't mind, because I want people to really get the true depth of what you are and what you do. So for over 20 years, she has been helping transform lives individually and in groups using a unique multidimensional approach, including naturopathy. Am I saying that right?
Naturopathy, yes.
Naturopathy, thank you. I was worried I'd be not saying that right. And biofeedback, trauma release work, NLP, life coaching, and energy work. Louise is the owner and the founder of Albuquerque Natural Health Center and the creator of the Brain System, BRAIN. Each one of those letters stands for something that she has an amazing program. So, and it's a 5-step healing program serving clients worldwide. And she's passionate about connecting and clearing blocks to success and helping others achieve their optimal health and highest potential. So there's a lot more to it, but I want you to talk to us yourself. And I know that you went through some serious, really bad health issues. So why don't you tell us about that? Because I did actually see the picture of you bedridden, and couldn't even, honestly, like it took my breath away to see how sick you were. So tell us about that.
Gosh, it's 25 years ago now, so it's been a while. But I had chronic fatigue, and after my son was born, and doctors couldn't figure it out, and so I kept trying to find answers to my health problems. I had a lot of fatigue. I think I was depressed. I just kind of doctor hopped and had a lot of labels, so they didn't know if it was fibromyalgia. They didn't know if it was MS. They didn't really know what was going on with me. And I ended up going to a dentist who said, let's take out your fillings because they're creating a car battery in your mouth. And I had bad teeth. I inherited bad teeth from my mom. So, or maybe the dentist just put in fillings and didn't need to. I don't know, but I had a ton of fillings back then. This is the 1950s. And I remember he gave me books to read on how toxic those were. And so he ended up taking them out in one day.
Right.
And I had 12 fillings. So I think it was either 12 or 14 fillings. And I read all the books. I thought it was going to be the right thing to do. I just wanted to get better. And within 3 months, I crashed. So my body could not detox all that mercury. And so I remember I slept on 7 cotton blankets on the floor. I've slept in bathtubs. I became sensitive to more and more things in my environment, foods and chemicals. So we ended up moving to electric heat, had to change out my heat in my house and my gas dryer and all that stuff to all electric. This is back in Illinois.
Wow.
And I ended up on an oxygen tank, actually. So I went down to 89 pounds. I couldn't digest anything. And I had 2 little kids at home. My kids were babies, you know. So Andy was about 18 months, and I think Becky was about 3 or 4. And wow, I mean, it was really tough. So my husband took care of us, you know, and all I wanted to do was be their mom, you know. So at that time, I would look at their little faces, and we would play puzzles and we would play things. I love to play with my kids, but there was a lot that I couldn't do. And so my quest was just to heal myself and get better. And I did, just like anybody else in that situation. You try so many things. Well, the medical profession wasn't helping me. So I ended up in the whole alternative world, you know. So it was chiropractic, it was acupuncture. I found an osteopathic doctor who was really good with supplements and gave me all kinds of supplements. And, you know, I changed my diet. I went to all organic food. They didn't have Whole Foods back then. This is even in Chicago. So we had to order stuff from a market downtown Chicago, and they would deliver organic food to our doorstep.
Wow.
There was no gluten-free. There was no gluten-free cookbook. So the very first gluten-free cookbook was 4 or 5 yellow pages on typed paper, yellow paper, in a white envelope mailed to my door every 2 months. And so I should have written that first gluten-free cookbook. Anyway, so that was, you know, so that was way back then. So we had to change our diet and do all that. It helped my family, though. You know, I learned a lot through that whole experience. And really what I learned was, you know, I changed all the physical body stuff and I started getting better, but I still wasn't where I wanted to be. Then I started doing the mental emotional stuff, and then I moved my family. I was like, I'm out of here. I was getting sick from all the pesticides used in my neighborhood and the herbicides and the glyphosate, right? Used on the lawns, which they're now finally saying, hey, you guys, this is toxic stuff. It causes cancer. Well, 25 years ago, I worked with our mayor to sue the state. So I became a pesticide activist.
Wow.
And Dr. Mercola, I was one of his patients. All of his patients signed the petitions.
You were the current version of Erin Brockovich.
Kind of, yeah.
Right?
No, I didn't think I was. And you know, at the time, I didn't really care about any of that. I was just mad.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was really angry about how we were poisoning our children.
Right.
You know, and what I saw was going on not only in my own body, but in my neighborhood.
Right.
And how many kids had asthma from those chemicals.
Right.
And how many kids had learning problems. And that's my background. I was a special ed teacher.
Right.
So I kind of say, hey, I taught special ed, and then I became like the kids I taught, which is true, because I didn't have a memory. I had my phone number written in my wallet. So this is before cell phone. So mercury is very toxic. And if your body can't detox that, you have to find a way to do it.
So I have a question about the process when they took the fillings out of your mouth. That when they took the metal out, how did that, because you would have thought that would have made you better because the metal was no longer in your mouth, right? What was the problem that got you sicker? Was it because they started stirring things up, or what was the problem?
That's a good question. Yes, they stir stuff up. So what happens is mercury has an affinity for the kidney, the heart, and the brain. And so when you take it out of your mouth, it's like pulling a stopper out of a sink. Like if your sink is filled with water, you're going to wash your vegetables, right? So you've got the stopper in there. And when you pull it out, all that water drains. Well, it's the same thing when they take mercury out of your tooth. Now, all of a sudden, it's not there. So now it has the opportunity to drain from those other organs. So now it's in your bloodstream.
Excuse me.
And it makes you toxic. It's just, and somebody might be able to totally detox that. And of course, the right way to do it would be do a quadrant at a time, or 2 or 3 fillings at a time. Start here, take your vitamin C, do the right stuff to detox that metal. You know, do some saunas. You know, there's things that will help detox heavy metals, cilantro, greens, you know, and then do the next quadrant.
Yeah.
Like do it as a process. But I didn't know that. And I just wanted it done. I'm impatient. I think I'm still impatient, you know, and I just wanted it done. So, you know, so I really crashed. And so then all the things in the environment that have levels of mercury and heavy metals, and I became more sensitive to. So that's how I ended up, on an oxygen tank. We had a big tank in the den, and I could go back and forth from the kitchen to the den. So, and then I had a little one for the car. Well, when I had like enough is enough kind of thing, I said, I'm out of here. And I researched where to go, and I ended up living in Taos, New Mexico for 7 years. So I decided to get away from grass. So I lived in sagebrush and adobe house.
Right.
And first we were in Cuesta, which is a teeny tiny town up in northern New Mexico. But every afternoon we would see double rainbows.
Wow.
And I felt like I had come to this place that was just enchanted. And it is, it's called the Land of Enchantment.
Oh.
And so that's how we got to New Mexico. And of course, I was in Taos then for 7 years. And then when I wanted better schools for my kids and more opportunities, we moved to Albuquerque. So that's how I got here. And on that journey of healing, though, the physical body changes were not enough to get me where I wanted to go. I still kept saying to myself, I don't feel like me. I don't feel like me. I'm not 100% me. And so that's how I ended up doing all the spiritual work and the mental emotional work. And then when I found energy work and biofeedback, I got a lot better.
So what actually did you do to really get yourself back to where you were? So it was biofeedback first, or was it just like, because I know that there were sequences, right? So like the first thing that you did was number one, moving, right?
Yeah, changing my diet was number one.
Changing your diet, okay, yeah. And
changing
then
my diet and changing to electric heat because I was so sensitive to gas.
Okay.
So I became sensitive to a lot of things. So changing the physical body environment and changing my diet was number one.
Okay.
Number two was moving to cleaner air.
Right.
Where I could breathe and I wasn't exposed to all of those chemicals.
Right.
And then the third thing was, we're doing a grateful journal. So going to that place of changing your mindset through spirituality, through different tools, through reading lots of books, through, attending, classes and webinars when I could, all of that. So I started really working more on the mindset and the spiritual, mental, emotional work.
Yes.
Journaling, so I did a lot of that. And then of course, Taos, if you've ever been there, it's just, 7,000 feet in the mountains. It's absolutely beautiful. We hiked a lot. So, the spiritual quest of being in nature was wonderful, was absolutely beautiful. So I kind of call those my monk years. And so that was amazing. And yet, I still wasn't where I wanted to be. And then I moved to Albuquerque for better opportunities for the kids. And I started naturopathic school because I kind of felt like I was halfway there already. I thought I've learned all this stuff. I'll just get the paper on the wall.
Right.
And then I was introduced to biofeedback, and I got my first biofeedback device, and now I have 5 of them.
Wow.
And that helped kick out some old, old spiritual, mental, emotional patterns that were stuck.
Yeah.
And it got me even better. And then I was introduced to energy work in the field.
Right.
And when I was introduced to that energy work in the field, it got me even better.
So when you say in the field, what you're talking about is like universal energy?
Universal energy in the field.
Okay.
So like right now I can do a demonstration and I show people that pain starts in the field.
Okay.
So like a Thai muscle test, and muscle test is called kinesiology.
Right.
A lot of chiropractors use it if you're not familiar with it. But I'm sure many of you have seen it. It's where somebody puts an arm out and they're testing using the strength of your muscle, because your muscle is connected to your nervous system.
Yeah.
And usually they're getting a yes and a no. And then, my name is Louise, my name is George. So there's ways to just check to see that that muscle is a yes and a no. So you're just calibrating.
That is fascinating. That is fascinating. And this is what you do now.
I do. Yeah.
This is your whole entire practice now of what you do. Because you went through such terrible things. You tried so many things. You found out what really, really works. And then you added the spiritual component in there. And everything just came together, right?
Yeah. It really is body, mind, spirit, and energy field all together.
Yes.
And how I got to that, Giselle, was I remember the light bulb moment. because, you know, I was a special ed teacher for 25 years. And the very end of that career, I was a dyslexic therapist. And I taught kids to read, write, and spell.
Okay.
And it was a private therapist. And it was 3 to 4 days a week. It changed their brain. It was therapy for the brain, like physical therapy for the brain, if you think about physical therapy.
Right.
And we did what you say with what you hear, with what you write, with what you feel. We did the senses. So, you know, we were teaching kids the sounds of the letters and helping them connect the sound of B with the letter name of B.
Right.
And then also how they heard it.
Okay.
So we would do B, bat, B. So I'm skywriting in cursive.
Okay.
A, apple, A. T,
Okay.
table, T. And then we put it together. B, at.
Yeah.
And then we would write it on sand, in a tray of sand. You know, so kinesthetic.
Right.
The kids would see it, hear it, feel it, say it, all at the same time.
Yeah.
And they would jump 2 grade levels in reading.
That's amazing.
In 6 months.
That's
and it kind of blew
amazing.
me away because I was a teacher my whole life. And I was like, this is the most amazing program. And what it did is it changed their brain.
Right.
And everything's about those neurotransmitters. When they're not balanced, you won't be balanced.
Right.
So when I got my biofeedback device and I started to see that and put those together, and then I realized what I was using it for with the kids is also helping them with their reading, writing, and spelling.
Right.
So they used to come into my office and just go, I have a headache. I can't read today. You have to put me on biofeedback. They were manipulating me because they could feel the difference. You know, they'd be like, I want that today. I don't want to do anything. You know, and so they taught me a lot. But what I learned from all that was that we had to do multi-sensory and healing, and we weren't.
Right.
We go over here to our chiropractor, here to our nutritionist, here to our church or our spiritual guru, over here to our, you know, mental, emotional healing, you know, person or whatever. And then pretty soon you've spent thousands of dollars like we did and you're not better yet.
Right. Right.
So what I figured out from my own journey was let's put it all together and let's do it in one session and do each piece in the session so that we're changing the brain right then and there. So it can release the past stuff and then put in the new program of how you want to show up in the world. And it's faster. It's just faster.
It's faster. So tell me and tell us what you do, because I know I experienced it and it's amazing, but tell us about this process.
Okay. You know, can I show, I'm going to share my screen. And show
Please do. Please do. Yes.
I'll show a visual if I have it here because I think it'll help. Yeah. See, I was a teacher and I have to do the visual.
I love
the
it.
The visual and the auditory together.
Yeah, this is great. Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, Louise, I really wish you would be able to show us a picture of what you were like.
Okay.
Can you do that?
I can. Yeah. I'll share this and I'll go look for that. It's in a PowerPoint, I think, here. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, so this is so it became the brain system, and it's a multi-sensory, multi-dimensional approach for healing. Yep. And it helps people heal all things, whether you're, you know, physically sick, mentally sick, emotionally sick, just stuck. I use it a lot with entrepreneurs to up-level their businesses, you know, and get people unstuck. So, you know, first you have to work with the body. So it's body detoxing and kind of rewiring your success mechanism. It's releasing the mental chatter and the emotional baggage, even things that are ancestral 30 generations back. It's aligning with spirit, so aligning your spiritual, you know, self, and you're raising your frequency to attract that success and prosperity. And so aligning with spirit is whatever, it's not denominational here, it's just whatever God is to you, it's higher power.
Right.
Integrate is integrating your new brain frequencies to your soul's true purpose. So I call it getting back to being 100% your soul's truth. Your authentic self would be another word. And then the other piece that's really important is putting in the new program. So a lot of healing modalities might do some kind of releasing work, but then they leave that person after that and they're not putting in the new program.
Oh, and that's really not good because they've got to actually have that final component.
Yes. So
Right.
it's like, hey, let's upgrade you to Windows 12, I call it. So it's like you have a biocomputer.
Yeah,
Your brain and your energy field is like a computer, you're a biocomputer, and
exactly.
we want to upgrade you to Windows 12. So it's kind
Hmm.
of like taking out the old virus program and putting in a new one,
Right.
or putting in a new software program so you now can have that success that you desire.
Right.
So
And
it's
so you actually put all these together and you can actually do all of this in one session with
yes,
somebody?
yes.
Wow.
Now we do peel off in layers,
Hmm. Yeah.
so I can do that all in a session, but I don't like opening up someone's body,
Yeah.
clearing the energy, putting in the new program, and then leaving it.
Right.
It would be like you deciding you're going to do a 30-day detox
Hmm.
and you do 1 week, right?
Doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
No.
So I do believe, people are like, can you do one session with me? Well, yeah, but it isn't going to give you the
No.
full bang.
Exactly.
You want to clear the layers.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
You
it's,
know?
a lot of times you're working with people that are, 50, 60 years old. And that was a lifetime of, you know, the problem that has been building in their cells and in their energy field. So of course, it's going to take a little bit to get them to where they're optimal again, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But
So it takes
surprisingly, not anywhere near as long as what would have to have if they were going into traditional, psychotherapy or a lot of other medical. Not that I'm saying that they don't need medical attention a lot of times, but if they would get the proper stuff with what you're doing, in addition to anything else that they may truly need, they could really have probably complete success,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. So the people who work closely with me, and I actually never knew this was going to happen.
Hmm.
I work with traumatic brain injury, with people who are sick, with people who just want to clear blocks and up level their business and make more money.
Right.
Because you can clear blocks on anything. Clear blocks to sell a home. We sell
Yeah.
homes really quickly. So it's an intuitive process that I'm now teaching.
I
So
love
people are
this.
learning the brain system. And those people are just as intuitive as I am. And it's so beautiful completely to see their
Yeah.
whole lives change, and
Yeah.
they're kind of surprised too. I mean, they come in to learn the system and then they'll say, gosh, I'm so much more confident and I just made $10,000 last week.
And
You
that blows me away. It's like,
and it's because
wow.
we got them back to being 100% their soul's truth.
Right.
It wasn't because I taught them a business model.
Yeah, you
you
cleared a
know
block that they didn't even realize that they had.
hmm
That they have been carrying this around with them their whole entire lives, and all of a sudden, it's gone. And it's kind of like you're opening up the curtain, and the light is now shining through.
Yes, yes. And that's so beautiful to see when people's light can shine through,
Yeah,
and because
yeah.
it's a combination technique too, it's like I'm thinking of two people actually I work with traumatic brain injury, so Deanna, within 3 months, her brain was working again. And she
Wow.
got her business back. She was kind of losing her business, the ability to really work.
Wow.
And then within a year, everything started changing. And she too looked at her, and it wasn't a money goal to start with. But she
Hmm.
looked at me, she goes, I have to tell you something. She said, I just made 6 figures this year. I've never made 6 figures before. And we weren't working again on any particular money goal. It was really just we were getting her back to being aligned. Her brain was
Right,
working. Her
right,
brain, body, spirit, all was working together.
right.
She was 100% her soul's truth. So she attracted the right situations, the right people
Yeah,
to her, and everything in her life changed.
that is so wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to dig that picture out. I want to,
Okay.
yes, I
Let's
really
see
want
if I
people
can
to
find
see,
it.
because nobody is a bigger testimonial than you. Okay.
See if I can
To,
find it here. Yeah.
yeah. And I don't, and I hate to, I'm so sorry if I'm putting you on the spot, but
No, sorry. I'm gonna find it.
I'm telling you that when people see what you were, what you went through,
Okay.
I, honestly, like, I cannot believe you're the same person. Look at this. This
Yeah,
is,
I know. I was dying.
oh,
I mean, I can't even. I only have one picture of me sick. I'm glad I didn't take any more. But anyway, I'm glad I saved
that's,
this one.
yeah,
Um,
no, but
yeah, and
it's,
that was not in the hospital. That was in our home. You know, that was on the oxygen. I had no
mm,
front teeth for 3 months, so I couldn't tolerate teeth. Had to have teeth made, and of course, and that's me now.
you look
So,
so fabulous. I
mhm.
just cannot believe that you are that person. And you know what? You're not that person anymore. You
No,
have
I'm not.
totally transformed. You have totally transformed
Mhm,
everything about you, and you are transforming other people. And I
mhm,
love that. I really, really love that. Honestly, you're one of the people that you really, you exemplify exactly what you are giving to others because you did it. You went through it. That's
mhm.
proof right there. People see what you were like and what you went through, and look at you now. This is
Mhm.
incredible, really incredible. And I'm just thrilled that I know you. Thrilled that I know you. As a matter of fact, you actually did biofeedback on my horse. Remember my
Yes,
horse?
yes, I do. I remember that.
Yes.
Yes.
And Louise, I was shocked because you hit it right on the head. You saw that it was an abscess.
Hmm.
You really, and when you were sending me these things, I'm like, how does she know this? This is incredible. And
Hmm.
he really started to improve after what you did. And it was remote. I was in Florida. You're in New Mexico.
Yep. Yep.
So
We can
that
send
was
frequency long distance, you
that's
know?
that's amazing.
And biofeedback will pick that stuff up. So, I kind of say I've had more dates with more people's bodies than anyone on the planet. And horses, and animals. I worked on a dog today who got his head stuck in like the balcony bars.
Oh
You know,
no.
pulled
Oh,
the little dog out, and I think he's better now. So,
oh, that's
yeah, we had to
wonderful.
release the shock. We had to release the
Oh,
shock and the trauma. You
poor
know,
thing. Oh
yeah,
no. Oh
yeah.
my. Well, I just want to say thank you so much. And before we end, what is your website or how can people get a hold of you if they want to?
It's louiseschwartzwalter.com, and it's a big long name. So it's Louise, Louise,
Uh-huh.
and Schwartzwalter is
Great.
SWARTZWalter.com.
Great.
And so you can get a hold of me there, or Louise at louiseschwartzwalter.com is my email.
Okay.
And then my office number is 505-797-0540. And
Great.
I love connecting with people. I love this, Giselle. Thank you for,
Yeah.
for doing this and the work that you're doing in the world. So yeah, I love connecting with people. So reach out. I love
Yeah.
questions. I love connection.
Yeah.
And I'm passionate about what I do, and just don't want to see. You don't have to suffer. If you're like stuck in any way, let's just move it out.
Right. Exactly. We don't have that many days on this planet. We've got a lot of days, but we really don't know how many we have. And I really do believe that people need to make the best and the most out of what they've got right now. Not to say that we don't have something better coming in the next chapter, but right now,
Mhm.
we've got an opportunity to really live the best, the most beautiful, healthy, happy life. And there are so many different ways to do it. And if anybody is going through anything, you've got to get a hold of Louise because she will help you. I I can tell you, I know, I've seen it firsthand and I've seen the magic that she does, and it's really, truly incredible. So thank you so much for being here, for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you are busier than me, if that's possible. But yeah, and I really appreciate you taking the time out to do this. So
Oh,
thank you,
you're
thank you, thank
welcome.
you, thank you so much. And so everyone, please just remember to get in touch with her if you need, or if you even just want to just explore and
Yeah,
find out
absolutely.
more, right? Just explore.
Yeah.
Go check
Yeah.
her
Again, I
website.
love connection. I love connection. So definitely
Yeah,
reach out, and also follow your intuition on that. So if you're watching this and you see something and you're like, hey, I should do that,
yeah,
listen,
that's right.
listen.
That's exactly right.
Follow your
Absolutely.
intuition. Huh.
Absolutely. We all have that little voice inside of us that tells us to do something. And a lot of times we just push it away. And then later on, we realize, ooh, I should have listened to that. Right?
Yes, yes. So
Oh,
it's listening and trusting,
exactly.
following it.
Yes.
Absolutely following it. Well, thank you
Well,
again, Giselle. This has been fabulous.
you
And thank
you
you
are
for the work that you're doing in the world, because I know you're doing some amazing work. And like you said, you're busy and you're teaching your yoga classes still, right? And working and coaching with people. And wow,
yeah.
and the more, and we share that, we share serving, right? The more people we can
Yes,
help, the better.
absolutely.
That's how, yeah,
Yeah. All
yeah.
right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And this is Ignite Your Value. And remember to tune back in again because we have a lot more in store. So, all right, Louise, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you, everyone.
Bye. Hello, everyone. This is Giselle Toner, and welcome to Ignite Your Value. This is the show for those of you who are ready to go from broken to brilliant, from getting the love you deserve to getting paid what you're worth and everything in between. And I love what I do because I really have the opportunity to meet wonderful people, fabulous people, and today is no exception. So today I have someone on who I'm extremely happy to say that I know, and his name is Lou Bortone. Now, before we get started, I want to let you know that there may be some colorful language occasionally being thrown around here. So if you have children around or you really don't want to hear any of that, not that it's going to be terrible, but occasionally we might slip something out there. You can put earphones on or just adjust however you'd like to. All right, so anyway, this is Lou Bortone. And Lou, before I have you talking, I want to read a little bit about your bio, okay? And
Sure.
exactly who you are and what you do. So, Lou Bortone is a longtime video marketing expert and thought leader in the digital marketing space. But he's also a writer and author and has a lot of experience as a freelancer. Lou Bortone is known as the video godfather. Now, we're not exactly sure why, and frankly, we're a little afraid to ask, but we do know that Lou has been a pioneer and thought leader in the video space since the launch of YouTube in 2005. He's helped thousands of entrepreneurs and companies create and leverage online video to build their brands and dramatically grow the revenues. Yay. Prior to his industry-leading work in online video marketing, Lou spent over 20 years as a marketing executive in the television and entertainment industries, including stints as national promotion manager for E! Entertainment Television and senior vice president of marketing for Fox Family Worldwide in Los Angeles. Lou is a popular speaker, author, and ghostwriter of 6 business books. He's also the author of Marketing Rules, How to Win in a World Gone Video. Okay, and he's got a few others, which we'll talk about. In his role as a writer and entrepreneur, Lou has faced many of the challenges small business owners face. And we're going to talk about all that stuff. And he also has another book that I think is hysterical, and it's called Dump the Duds. So we're going to talk about Dump the Duds. But anyway, okay, Lou, thank you so much for being here. I am excited to have you here, and
Thank
welcome.
you. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah. So Lou, before we get into, your achievements and the books and things like that, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it was like to actually be in that world of TV and entertainment and stuff like that in Los Angeles? And was it New York also or just Los Angeles?
LA, yep. It was
In LA.
fun. I mean, it was such a great time just because at the time I was at E, they were sort of just starting up and we were doing all these red carpet things and, it was all really glamorous. And then I had twins and the glamour immediately went away and I went from the red carpet to diapers and all that stuff. So it was great. It was a great experience to be involved in that. The business was changing a lot. A lot of things were moving online, and when my kids were born, we thought, well, I don't know if we want them to grow up in LA or Boston. Most of my family's in Boston, so we came back to Boston and sort of left all that glamour behind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so since then, you've been in Boston permanently, right? But when you moved to Boston after the twins were born, is that when you started to build your own online presence? Was that the
Yeah,
start
pretty
of it?
much. I mean, it's funny because a lot of people say, I want to be an entrepreneur all my life and this, that. I was an accidental entrepreneur. And I was working at a radio and TV station and the contract ended. So it's kind of like, all right, well, I need to do something. I have kids and a house and a mortgage and all that fun stuff. So,
Right.
so I was kind of an accidental entrepreneur, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I made every mistake possible. So it's been an interesting, journey over the last 12, 15 years, because that's pretty much how long I've been working for myself and working online.
But all of the expertise that you had with all the things that you did before
Hmm.
definitely helped you so much in cultivating your business now and what you do.
Yep.
So, yeah, but I mean, along the way, we all,
Yep.
I'm sure you are just like all of us, we all come across the brick walls
Hmm.
and the difficult parts of being
Right.
an entrepreneur
Hmm.
and being in the people business. And even though I love people, sometimes we come across people that are really, really difficult.
Yeah.
So I know you've got your share of that, right?
Yeah. And it's funny because I think, when I came back from LA, I think there was a little bit of arrogance, like, oh, I worked at Fox. What could possibly be harder? Or, what can I not handle? But working online and having to go out and get clients and hustle for yourself is a completely different animal, obviously, than working for a big corporation. So I was unprepared. I just,
Right.
like I said, I made a lot of mistakes. Um, I think one of the things, we talked a little bit about I kid about dump the duds and all that, but I mean, I had to learn the hard way how to set boundaries, how to deal with difficult clients, how to get paid. I was such a wuss and a softie, like, oh, I'll do this and I'll do that. And I was practically giving this stuff away, and it was killing me. And I realized, like, I can't, do so much or give so much to the clients that I'm not able to earn a living.
Exactly. Exactly. One of the things you just sparked something in my memory because I've been following you for a long time, because I really
Mhm.
was fascinated by the stuff that you did and I thought it was wonderful. So I always was looking into what you're doing. And
Mhm.
I'll never forget one time I actually was a part of one of your programs.
Yep.
It might have been a freebie or maybe it was one of the lesser price programs that was really, really good. And I had a little bit of a problem. I couldn't find something or I
Mhm.
was stuck. So I just, wrote to you and I thought I was writing to like the support, in Pakistan, right? And I got a personal response from you, which I thought
Mhm.
was really amazing. And not only did you answer my question, but you gave me like access to this amazing stuff that I thought really should have been, you got to pay for this. And I'm like,
Mhm.
this guy's amazing. Like he's giving me this free stuff and it's so great. And that's what made me realize that
Mhm.
you were a very special person. I wasn't just dealing with somebody who, get your support group from out there somewhere in
Right.
India and you have nothing to do with it. You're hands on. You are right there and
Mhm.
you have a heart. But this is the problem. Okay. People like you and people like me, because I'm the same way, we
Mhm.
give so much and then we wind up finding that, gee, they don't appreciate it,
Mhm.
or they start getting to the point where they want a lot more than they should
Right.
be getting because they're not willing to
Mhm.
give anything. So your book, Dump the Duds. I love it. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was really just sort of a novelty. I mean, it was almost like a joke because
Uh-huh.
somebody had asked me to do a presentation
Uh-huh.
in Atlanta, and I'm like, okay, I'll do the usual video thing. Like, no, 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 we want to do a presentation based on your other book, If You Pay Me. So I
I
thought,
love it.
okay, I'm not gonna.
I love it. Fuck you, pay me. Yes.
Which is like from Goodfellas. So they said, no, we don't want the video presentation. We want the PG version of the FU Pay Me. So the PG version is basically dump the duds, dealing with difficult clients. And we've all had them. So I just did like a little, presentation stand up on dealing with difficult clients. And I tried to make it fun. And that's where that came from. And then I came back and I did another little illustrated book. I can show you a screenshot if you want.
Yeah, let me see.
Um, and I did another illustrated book called Dump the Duds, and basically we just talked about all kinds of difficult clients, and really what's like basically people would say, well, oh, will you do this? Will you do me a favor? Will you do this for exposure? Can I pick your brain? You know that expression, can I pick your brain?
Yeah, yeah.
So I finally
Can I pick
learned,
your
like,
brain?
all right, my brain is so picked that I'm going to go broke.
Yeah.
So I had to finally say, yeah, you can pick my brain, but you have to buy a coaching session. And then people would always say, I'm so sure you've heard this before.
Yeah.
Oh, think of all the exposure you'll get. So my response to that was like, yeah, but you can die from exposure. Right?
That's right.
So the idea of Dump the Duds was to channel your inner badass, your inner godfather, your inner warrior, whatever
Yeah.
you want to think. It's just that, like, okay, look, you can be nice, you can serve clients, you can do all that stuff, but you don't have to be a doormat. You don't have to be taken advantage of. You just have
Exactly.
to kind of summon that inner badass sometimes and say, like, all right, this is a business,
It's
right?
right. Yep.
And if I want to stay in business, you have to be able to be a little bit of a badass sometimes.
I know. I love this, Lou. I love it. I know when I looked at it and I went through it, I went, this is so great. Even though it's a cartoon thingy,
Hmm.
it's so amazing because it really hits the point and it does it better than if you were doing it in a serious way.
Yeah,
This
I think it's more
this
fun that way.
is, I have to tell you, I love this so much. So I would love to see more of this because I think everybody that's watching is really going to identify,
Yeah,
with themselves, with how sometimes they've been a doormat, especially the women that I coach.
yeah, and
They have
it's
been,
it's funny because we're coaches, we're helpers, we're healers. We want to help,
yeah,
but if you give so much of yourself, you won't have anything left. So
yeah,
so I talk about discovering the power of the word no. Like, oh my
yeah,
God, I can actually say no to something.
yeah,
I can actually say no to a client. I also talked about the fact that sometimes you just have to cut your losses and get this, whether it's a toxic client or a toxic relationship, you just got to say enough, I'm out of
yeah,
here.
yeah.
So, and then I also talk about, like, I have all these clients from hell that we've all dealt with, like Harry the Haggler. Hey, can you give me a discount or this or that? Or Panicky Peggy. And it doesn't have to be a woman. It's just somebody
Hmm.
that calls up and is like, oh my God, I've got a such and such due tomorrow. Can you help me? I'm like, oh. So now all of a sudden their emergency has become your emergency.
Hmm.
So, and one more change, Chuck. That's like, okay, the
Love that.
project is never done. It's just never done.
Yeah,
So I just kid about a lot of these people because we've all dealt with them, and sometimes they make our lives a little bit more difficult. And
you're not
you just have
kidding.
to decide, are you going to set up, our mutual friend Michael Port, who talks about the red velvet rope policy. Are you going to set up a red velvet rope policy so not everyone gets to work with you?
I
You
love that. I love
really
that. The
draw the
red
line
velvet.
somewhere. And then the other part is, like, I get clients because I do video and design and things like that. I oftentimes I get people who say, well, I don't know what I want, but I'll know it when I see it. I'm like, well, that's great, but I can't do 40 versions of a video for you.
Right, right.
Um, and then I think the last, not the last, but one of the other things is sometimes I can do things really, really quickly because I've been doing it so long, or somebody's an expert at something and they do it fast.
Hmm.
And the client will say, well, why should I pay you that? It only took you 30 minutes. It's like, yeah, but it took me 30 years to figure out how to do it in 30 minutes.
That's
So,
right. Exactly. You don't go to a doctor and say, hey, you just stitched me up in 10 minutes. Why does
mhm,
it cost, $2,000? Well, it's because it took me 12 years
yeah,
to learn how to do that. Absolutely.
exactly. Yep.
Absolutely.
So that's a quote that I found. Like, if I do a job in 30 minutes, it's because I spent 10 years learning it how to do, learning how
That,
to do it in 10 minutes.
Lou,
So,
this right here is so amazingly important because I don't think that most people really get that. They don't understand it, but this is beautiful. I love this.
yeah. So again, it's really just a matter of owning your value and standing firm for, like, hey, I learned all this. I went to school for it. I got a certification or this or that.
Yeah.
So, even if you can do something quickly,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that it should be free or very low cost. And again, like what
Absolutely.
Michael Port said from Book Yourself Solid was, you really have to sort of establish a red velvet rope policy. Like, who's going to get in and be able to work with you? And there are times, frankly, maybe you're down a few clients, or you need some work where you loosen that a little bit. Like, you can decide, all right, maybe this is not the perfect client, but this is right now, I really want to see if I can work with them. So
Hmm.
it doesn't mean you're a snob or you're really, ridiculously selective. You just have to decide based on the amount of work you have and the amount of work you can do,
Exactly.
who sort of gets past that red velvet rope.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That is so important. Oh my God. And this not only pertains to business, but it pertains to life in general,
Exactly.
right?
Yep. Yep. So, and there are ways like you can say like, well, how do I know if somebody's a bad client or not a good fit if I haven't worked with them? It's like, well, you can do an application, you can do onboarding, you can do contracts. I usually work with a handshake. I don't, but there are times when it's like, there's a reason why contracts exist, and it's to really protect both parties.
Right.
And if that doesn't work, you can just stalk them on Facebook and see, like,
I
is
was
this
just going to say, stalking. That's a great thing because sometimes you really need to know what you're doing with who you're dealing with. And
yeah.
you can get a very, very good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then lastly, I talk about like, well, if you have difficult clients, the Buddha method is sort of that namaste. Okay, I'm just going to be calm about this. And then the Godfather method is a little bit more, okay, you know what? Well, there's a quote in the Godfather movie. It's not personal. It's strictly business.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm sorry, it's business. And then the Rihanna method is the rated R version. Which is like that song that she sings, bitch, have my money.
Bitch, better have my money.
Yeah. So you have to decide like, all right, well, what level am I going to be at when I work with clients?
Yes.
So, I
Yes.
mean, the main thing is like, you have to own your value. You have to charge what you're worth, and you have to, kind of stand up for yourself, because you don't have a boss or an agent or somebody who's doing it for you. It's you. So
Exactly. Exactly. And like I said before, this is critically important for anyone who is in business for themselves or thinking of going into business for themselves, but it's also really important for anyone who has in life dealt with really bad situations and you put
mhm.
yourself last. So this is
Yeah.
life. These are life lessons that you're going through right now, that you're teaching right now, Lou.
Yeah,
So
and we do put ourselves last, and it's funny because this was me. I would rather be loved than make money. You know what? I want approval. I want to help people.
yeah,
Another thing I always said, like with video editing, for me, I had been doing it so long, it came naturally. For other people, it's like, oh my God, how did you do that? So just because it's easy doesn't mean you shouldn't charge for it.
that's right.
And then there are times like, it's your business. So if you want to give somebody a friends and family discount, do it. If if you feel like you really need the cash and this client isn't perfect, but it's perfect right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why we tend to, cave in or give in or charge less, because a lot of it's just that, hey, we really want to help people,
Yeah.
which is great, but you can't help anybody if you're not in business.
That's right, exactly. Because if you don't have anything to eat, you're going to starve to death and they will never get your services. There you
Yeah,
go. Right?
exactly. So those are a few of my, pick your battles
Yeah.
and set boundaries. And as you mentioned, this is true in life and relationships and everything else. It's like, if you don't have boundaries, if you continue to answer a phone call at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night from a client, they're going to think it's okay to call Lou at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
It is,
Mm-hmm.
that's my football time or whatever. So,
Exactly. And boundaries are so important. And that is something that a lot of people just don't know how to put in place.
mhm.
They feel like, oh, it's not right. And they don't want to look like the mean person, but you're not a mean person. You're
Yep.
just doing what you need to do to survive yourself so that you can be the best for somebody else.
Exactly. Yep. So, I can stop sharing now, I guess. So I just wanted to show you a few of those things from the Dump the Duds, just because, and that's the thing, you can present this stuff in a fun, friendly, irreverent way,
Right.
but the message is the same. It's like, like, I'm not going to be taken advantage of, and I'm going to stand up for myself and all those
Exactly.
things that I learned the hard way. Because like I said, I made all those mistakes kind of
Yeah.
coming up online and doing it that way.
Yeah.
Because
Oh
if you've
boy.
had, like, especially if you come from corporate, you've probably had a supervisor or a boss or someone to sort of take the heat for you in some ways, or stand up for you, or fight for you. And now you're your boss. So you have to do it yourself.
Exactly. And it's a whole different ball game when you're doing it on your own, because now you're responsible for your own welfare. You're also responsible for the way you interact with people, and you want to be fair to them. But at the
Right.
same time, you cannot put yourself at the bottom. And this is something that I think women and men both have a problem with it.
Hmm.
Women maybe a little tiny bit more because we're the nurturers and we're the
Yeah.
caregivers. And for us, it's like, oh, but I've got to serve. Yes, you do, but you've got to serve yourself first, okay?
Hmm.
It's like that old cliche that we've heard a million times, you know, when the plane is in trouble and that air comes down, you've got to put it on first.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
Otherwise, you can't help your kids or anybody else that's next to you, right?
Right. Yep. I know. And it's yeah, you absolutely have to do that.
Yeah.
The other thing that's kind of funny is I just totally lost my train of. Oh yeah, it's almost like you want to create an alter ego. So if you're talking to a client and it's like you can be really nice and all that. Oh, you want to discuss the price? Hold on, let me put my partner on the phone, and then you go on and change your voice and like, let me check with my accountant. It's like, and like you said at the beginning, it's just me. I mean,
Yes.
I
Yes.
have a virtual assistant and a bookkeeper and all that, but
Right.
I don't
Right.
have an agent or a lawyer or, somebody that's going to go out and say, well, this is how much it costs. Like the guys from the band don't negotiate the contract. They leave that to their manager or their agent. It's like, well,
Right.
it's just us. So we're
Right.
negotiating everything ourselves.
Exactly. It kind of reminds me of something that happened to me when I first in 2000 opened up my yoga studio and my
Yeah.
Pilates studio in New Jersey. And it was a brand new endeavor for me. And I had clients that were banging the door down because it was pretty new. And I was like
Yeah.
the pioneer in that area. And I had a lady that was very, very, very wealthy.
Hmm.
And I lived in a one room efficiency.
Hmm.
So it was one room efficiency. That was my bedroom, my living room, my dining room, my bathroom, my kitchen. Everything was one room. And then
Yeah.
in the back was my 2-car garage, which I turned into my yoga studio.
Oh,
And I have to
cool.
say that it was really cool. But this
Yeah.
woman walked in and she took a look around and she went, "So where do you live?" And I said, "Right there." And she went, "Oh." And her face dropped. But then, what made it even worse, Lou, and this is the part that really was bad.
Hmm.
She wanted me to give her a set amount of um, sessions. But
Yeah.
she didn't want to abide by the rules that they have to be taken within a 3-month or 4-month period.
Right.
And so she just basically was dragging along, and she never really finished all of her sessions within the
Right.
4 months. So she called me and said, "Well, I'm sorry, but I can't do them all in 4 months, and I want you to honor this for another year." And I'm like, "No, I can't
Yeah.
do that." And she said, "Well, why not?" I said, "Because my partner won't let me." I had no partner. It was just me. I said,
Right.
"I'm sorry, my partner
Hmm.
makes these rules and I cannot do it." So that was a time where I really had to stand my ground and let her know, this is a contract. You have to honor it.
Right.
And my partner will not allow it, right? But we have to do that, right?
I know, because otherwise, like I did the same thing, like with coaching and stuff like that. It's like, all right, well, you're supposed to use your hours within 6 months or whatever it is, and a year and a half later, somebody's like, I have 2 hours left. I'm like, oh my god, that was like, yeah, but at the time you bought coaching when it was this much, and now it's this much, and
Right.
so yeah, you do have to really set those boundaries, and
Mhm.
sometimes you just have to say no.
That's exactly right. You have to say no. And this is so important for us, you know, entrepreneurs, and no matter where you are in life, whatever it
Mhm.
is that you're doing, you've got to be able to say, listen, I am important enough. My work is really valuable. I
Yeah.
have a really serious contribution that I'm giving to the world. And you need to play by my rules.
Hmm.
And if you don't, I'm sorry, you can go and find somebody else. And
Yeah.
that's where that word no comes in. And that's where you have to get selective, because I just recently had to do that with someone.
Hmm.
She was somebody again who wanted my coaching,
Hmm.
but she knew it all already.
Yeah.
And
That's
I said to
not
her, "Why are you hiring me since you know
good.
it all?"
Mhm. The
And all
other
of a
thing
sudden, she couldn't,
Yeah, the other thing that's funny is that, and I don't know, you may find this too, is that sometimes the clients who pay the least are the highest maintenance, and like maybe they have a ton of money, but they just don't want to, like, oh, well, can you give me this special deal, or can you do this, or can you do that? It's like, oh my God, the smallest clients sometimes take up the most time, and you can't let that happen. So I always say, like, all right, well, who are my VIP clients like you? It's like, all right, I'm putting them at the top of the list, and they're staying there. So.
And isn't that funny how when people do not really invest,
Mm-hmm.
they don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
If they're not giving an investment, they just treat it like, oh, this is nothing. But when they are investing at a higher level, they're
Mm-hmm.
in it. They're in the game. They're working hard. They're with
Yep.
you. They're there. And they're the ones that see the best results because they're really in it.
Mm-hmm.
But unless they're actually paying what they should be paying for it, they don't appreciate it. And that was one of the hardest lessons for me to learn. Just like you, Lou, I was giving away everything, and I have a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, all right, I cannot continue to do this because it's just really bad for me, and I cannot serve my clients at the highest level.
Yeah, I know you're going to make a commitment to them, so they should make a commitment to you. It's a two-way street. And then a lot of times I would say, like, oh, but what about those people, those newbies, or those coaches who are just starting out? I feel like I'm abandoning them. You can give them your $27 or $47 courses and still serve them without abandoning them, but then you can still have time to work with your larger clients.
Exactly, right. Yes, and have time for things that you love to do.
Oh yeah, that.
whatever that may be. I don't know about you, but I've got my horse, and he's a priority, and I love riding. So what's your passion?
Oh, wow. I like editing video, luckily, but I also like music, I play the drums once in a while, all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, I try to be kind of funny or irreverent, so sometimes I'll put that into some kind of a project, like the Dump the Duds book or things like that. So, I'm fortunate because a lot of what I like to do, I've managed to bring into the business. So
that's great. And isn't it wonderful when you really love what you do, Lou? Because for you, editing videos is not a chore. It's actually a creative endeavor. It's part of your gift, So when you've got that gift, it's wonderful. It's like an artist when he's painting and he's commissioned to paint something. He's not doing work. He's allowing that brilliance to flow through him. And that is what makes it so special. And they are the people, you are the people, that when you put your hand on something, it's gold, because you're not working at this level of, this is drudgery. You're working at the level of, this is cool. I love this, and I want to see what I can create.
Yeah, exactly. And then the only risk to that, like we said before, is like, you can't say, oh my God, this is so easy, I couldn't possibly charge for it. Just because it's easy for you doesn't mean that it's not valuable.
Exactly. It's like, I started out just teaching yoga, but then I transitioned into life coaching with it because I had to, because I had a lot of women that were really, really in need. But it was wonderful for me because I was doing it naturally anyway. But just because it's natural for me, and even though I've got the certifications, I already felt like a natural at it because I am good at it. It doesn't mean that you don't charge your premium prices, because you are actually giving someone a life transformation. You really are. And that is valuable, and it's worth gold.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell us how, I know that you've got lots of things, Lou, lots and lots of things, but your main website is loubortone.com.
Yep.
Right.
And if folks want the little Dump the Duds ebook,
can you put that link on so that they can see it
in the chat?
Yes. Put it in the chat. But also, more than the chat, put it on online on the video live so that they can see it.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm not sure that the chat's going to come through when
let me see if I have that here.
Actually, I've got it. It's I did put it down. Let's see. Here it is. Yep. You can get a free copy at loubortone.com, FUPM.
Yep.
So let me see. Let me see if I can put that.
Yeah,
okay, so
good. I thought I had a slide with it, but I do not have
That's okay. So here it is. It's www.loubortone. It's LOUBORTONE.com /FUP as in Paul, M as in Mary. Okay. So it's loubortone.com /F as in Frank, U as in ugly, P as in Paul, M as in Mary. And that stands for, should I say it?
Sure, why not?
Fuck you, pay me. Fuck you, pay me.
Exactly. And that was just like, that came from the Goodfellas movie, obviously, which is funny because I'm, Italian background, and well, you're from Jersey, so.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh,
So it's like, well, do you ask those guys for a discount? No.
no, you don't. No, you don't. And I love it. And actually, I'm from Philadelphia
Oh, that's
originally, and I
right.
grew
Yeah.
up in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
mafia land. So I know all about it. I heard lots of gunshots when I was younger, and
Yeah.
read all about the unfortunate things that was happening in
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia. But anyway, I can identify, believe me, and I'm
Yeah.
Italian too. So,
Mm-hmm.
but no, it's all good stuff. Okay, but anyway, if anyone wants to check out Lou, loubortone.com/FUPM,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get that. He's got freebie there. He's got a freebie there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, check out what Lou does. He's got amazing things. He's on YouTube. He's got a great YouTube channel and lots of other really, really cool stuff. So Lou has been an amazing person for me, and I'm really thankful to you, Lou, for taking time out of your busy
Oh,
day. And I
thank
know
you.
it's morning. I know morning is tough for everybody. I've got my coffee here, but
Mm-hmm.
I know I drug you out of bed, but
No problem.
unfortunately, but I think it was worth it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, okay, everybody. So I'm going to end the show right now. Thank you so much for watching. And again, this is Ignite Your Value. I am Giselle Toner. And stay tuned for more really great stuff. You'll be able to see this on the channels Roku. You're going to be able to see it on Amazon Fire TV, Amazon Fire TV, and also Apple TV, and a couple of podcasts. So, Lou, you're going to be all over the place.
Yay. Thank you.
All right. All right, everybody. I'm going to end it now. Thank you so much. Bye.